Why did you leave America and came back to Russia? Are you crazy? I've been asked this question hundreds of times by both Russians and Americans. At age 20, I moved to the United States of America, and at age 29, I left America to come back to Russia. I'm going to answer the question why I moved back and explain the reasons. This is my personal story, and I hope you'll like it. Welcome to tropical and ever-warm Moscow, Russia. If you're here for the first time, my name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I explain how it is to be living in today's Russia. And if you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much. You're awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more. I was born in the mid-70s and raised in the USSR in a large, usual, regular, ordinary Soviet family. My mom and dad had 4 siblings. I basically had 8 aunts and uncles and 10 first cousins. My family consisted of 40 members. If you guys have ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, that movie is about our family. Only we are Russians, not Greek, but that doesn't make much of a difference. The fact that I'm coming from a large family is very important. Please note, you will understand at the end of the video. I am the only child. My mom and dad adored me, and I was growing up in an atmosphere of pure love. I was just a, normal Soviet child in a normal Soviet family. I graduated high school with the highest honor, medal, and joined a local university. When I was a senior at school, I had an opportunity to go and study in the United States of America for 1 year, and I sure did not miss it. So when I just turned 20, I packed up and I left for the USA. All I had was a gym bag with 1 set of clothes and a few dollars in my pocket. That's it. I came to America as a green, inexperienced, naive young boy who had just turned 20 with no money, no language, no connections, no life experience, nothing. I was one clean set of white paper. When I came to America, my jaw literally dropped. I found myself in a completely different world. To tell about that experience would be a completely separate video. I made a video about that period of my life, how I was making first steps, my first job, and why I fell in love with America in the video right here. Check it out. I had to learn English. I had to learn American culture. I had to meet people, make connections, and, make it. About 7 years later, I achieved everything I had hoped for. I could speak very good English, pretty much like I'm speaking right now. I went to university. I had a good career going on. I worked for a large family in southern Maine, managing properties for them. Met a girl and madly fell in love with her. We married, had a child. I was making it in America. Everything was fine. When I turned 27, I started feeling kind of uneasy because I was still young and still eager to make it big. And the state of Maine is a wonderful, quiet state, but isn't particularly full of opportunities for 27-year-old kid, I felt like I hit the ceiling professionally, financially, and I was getting tired of the winters. Maine has long winters, just like ever tropical Russia, Moscow, Russia. So I understood that I needed to change my life. My first wife, Bonnie, she was born in Maine but grew up in California, in Anaheim. She was speaking very fondly of the place. So we decided to go and check it out. We flew to Las Vegas, rented a car. I spent a few $100s in Vegas, lost, should I say. And then we drove to California through Mojave Desert. Oh, fantastic drive. We went to Los Angeles, to Anaheim. Bonnie showed me her neighborhood where she was growing up. Then we drove down to San Diego, also fantastic place. Then we drove up to Santa Barbara. And before hitting Santa Barbara, we stopped literally like a few miles south of Santa Barbara. We stopped at the place called Carpinteria and got out on the beach, and I just fell in love with the place. Just like that, I still have some recordings left, and this is what Bonnie said at the time.
We found our home. It's called called Carpinteria.
Whatever. You
This
don't.
is Carpinteria. And we've got the ocean over here that looks just like Maine. And we've got the mountains in the background. We have a
Looks just
field.
like Maine, and the park looks just like
And
Maine.
we have palm trees that doesn't look like Maine. And it feels right. It's cheaper than Santa Barbara, but it is the best of both worlds. But yeah, we took those
I'm telling you, this ain't Santa Barbara or Carpinteria, freaking Los Angeles. This is Moscow, Russia, and this is like -6 and windy, and I'm kind of freezing here. I wish I could be in San Diego for a day or two, for a week. We felt like we stumbled upon a place where we wanted to move from Maine to and live there. Minutes later, we drove up to Santa Barbara and stopped a local hospital. Bonnie was just about to graduate to become a registered nurse, and she got an offer at the hospital, at the local hospital, just like that. They said, listen, if you guys want to move to Santa Barbara, we'll help you out with relocation and give you a sign-up cash bonus. Wonderful place, fantastic opportunity. There was a large Holiday Inn hotel in Ventura nearby, where they said they would be glad to hire me if I moved to the area. And I was surfing at the time. One of the best surfing spots in the world, called Rincon, was right there off Carpinteria. Was no-brainer. We wanted to move right there. Upon returning to Maine, I approached my friends, the family, and told them that we were considering moving away from Maine to California. Within a week, the family came up with an offer that was really hard for me to refuse. They said that they were going to buy a new hotel and make me a junior partner. Now, I was 27, and to become a partner, a small one, but a partner anyway, is a big, huge deal. The only condition was to stay in Maine and manage the property. Okay, managing partner. That was the way how they wanted to keep me in Maine. All of a sudden, I had two fantastic offers, two opportunities to continue growing in my life, professionally and certainly financially. I tell you about the choice I made right after I stopped by a coffee shop, get myself warm up a little bit, because this isn't Santa Barbara, not San Diego, it's Moscow, and it's, you know, it's more like Maine in winter. Спасибо. Thank you so much. Coffee here at this local shop is the best, but the quality of sound is absolutely worst. And unfortunately, I cannot film in here. Just warm up a little bit. But if you find this video interesting, please boop the like button down below so you help to spread my message to more people. Warmed up and feeling myself 1000% better, especially with this hot coffee in my hands. Having two offers, the best offer and the best, kind of two best offers, is actually great. And I was thinking about which one to choose a great deal. If we are to move to California, that's a big ocean. I'd be a small fish first, but with opportunities to become bigger. And if we were to stay in Maine, that's a small pond, but I'd be a big fish there already. So at 27, I felt like I had reached quite a great deal. You know, I moved to a new country, no one was helping me. I was doing everything myself, was making myself, learned the language, had the family going, proved myself professionally. I was a respected member of a community, people knew of me, and I had the new horizons inside. It's just one thing that could not let me sleep well at night. Guess what that is? I was born and raised in Russia. I am Russian. My DNA, my culture, my language, my family, my friends, my education, everything was Russian. I moved out of Russia when I was 20, and all my adult professional life I spent in the United States. But still, I couldn't just get rid of the first 20 years of my life, I missed my mom and dad tremendously. I missed my family a lot, and I mean a lot. Not one single day would pass that I wouldn't think of them, I missed everything about my family, about my circle that I was growing up in. So I clearly remember the day when I made the final decision to leave the USA and to come back to Russia permanently. I was sitting at a cafe having lunch with my best friend and discussing the two options. And my best friend is actually the one who gave me one of the offers. And he was trying to convince me to stay in Maine. And all of a sudden, his cell phone rang, and that was a call from Moscow, Russia. Surprise, huh? A mutual friend, a person who I knew, was asking about me. He was asking how to find me because he had a job offer for me in Moscow. That's a long story and certainly a topic for another video, but these people had a business and it was growing in the early 2000s, and they needed people with experience to help them grow. So they were asking for me. And I was sitting right there at the table. So my friend just passed me that telephone. And that person from Moscow, he said, "Hey, listen, you thinking of moving back to Russia perhaps?" And I told him, this is exactly what I'm thinking right now. And he said, "Well, we have a job offer for you. Just come anytime you want. We'll help you out to settle down in Moscow. We'll set you up with a job. You'll be making great money. Please come." Wow, just like that. Oh, it's pretty good coffee, So at that moment, I felt like I was given the answer. That was a message from above. My friend looked at me, startled, and he said, "Wow." That's all he could say. Now, that was one of the hugely important moments of my life. One of my favorite movies is Castaway with Tom Hanks. I'm sure many of you have watched that movie, and in case you haven't, the short story is Tom Hanks crashes on a deserted island in the Pacific, deep in the Pacific, and he's absolutely powerless there. He doesn't know how to fish, he doesn't know how to, put himself in a nice little tent, he doesn't know anything. The guy is in despair. Then 5 years passes, and Tom Hanks is absolutely seasoned. He fishes excellently, he eats well, there's enough food, he knows how to get fire, how to hide from the elements. Okay, he made it. But he wants to go back to his normal life, and he gets a nice little raft and tries to sail to, find people at sea. The problem is the break. All around the island is tiny, and the break is huge. And to get past the break takes lots of efforts, and it's risky. And Tom Hanks goes ahead and does that. He passes over huge waves breaking, and all of a sudden, he sets sail. That moment right then was just like I was feeling. He looked back and he saw the island, very comfortable, very cozy, his home at the time, okay? And he knew if he was to move forward just a little bit, that's it, he would burn the bridge. He would not go back to the island, to his home, okay? He's at the big sea and, everything will be different. But there's no coming back. That was the turning point. And I felt the very same way. I felt that America had become my home. I felt very comfortable, very stable, very normal, very, successful there. And I felt if I were to take one of the presented offers, either to move to California or to stay in Maine and become a partner, I would commit to long-term activities, okay? And if I do that either way, then no way I would be going back to Russia ever. I was at the point of burning bridge. I felt uprooted. I felt like if my roots are out of the soil of my home garden where I grew up, okay? And if I were to go to one of the places and to take one of the offers, I would plant the roots into a new place and they would grow. And there's no way I would be getting uprooted again in my life. So I knew that was the point, the turning point, the most important point of my life. And right at that point, I had that telephone call from Moscow, believe it or not. There was message directly from above. And that message was well read by me. I called my wife and I said, listen, I cannot go to California. I cannot stay in Maine. I would not be feeling really good about taking one of each offers. There's no way. I miss my family. I would like to go to Russia. And Bonnie, and I am very thankful up to this day, she said, listen, I'm your wife, and whatever decision you make, I will follow, okay? We'll be all right. We'll live in Russia. At that moment, I had like wings grew out of my back, and I think I started flying a little bit above the ground. Guys, I have a pretty good question of the day for you. What would you do in my situation? What choice would you make if we're given these conditions as I was given when I was 27? What would you do? Let me know down below in the comments. I called Moscow and I negotiated all the formalities. And they weren't any, actually. These guys were very informal and they said, listen, just let us know when you come into Moscow. Like a couple weeks before, let us know. We will ask our secretary to go and rent you an apartment. And then we'll pick you up at the airport and you'll start working next week. I said, well, I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing, and I don't know how much money I'll be making. Could you tell me? He said, no, I don't know, but we have so much job that will put you right in, and we're all making fabulous money, okay? That December, we packed all our stuff, 6 huge hockey duffel bags. All my life fit into a duffel bags. Took a ride to Boston, hopped on the plane to Milan, then changed the planes and landed in Moscow. And the rest is history. I was back to Russia. I was making it in America and I was successful. Yet I moved to Russia. You don't even understand how many people asked me, most people that I meet, they ask me this question, why'd you move? And they don't ask me if I'm crazy, but I can see it in their looks, in their eyes. I can read between the lines, The real question is, why'd you move? Are you crazy? The second most frequently asked question is, have you ever regretted? Do you regret that you moved from the USA to Russia? No, I'm not crazy. And no, I do not regret. Not once, not single time I have ever regretted of moving back to Russia. It actually was the best decision of my life. I made many mistakes and bad choices, bad decisions in my life, but the moving, that was the best decision of my life. I came back and reunited with the family, and there's so much joy. Very emotional. It felt like I had never left, okay? I walked out, and 9 years later, I just walked back in. And I was having so much love, so much care, so much joy out of meeting everyone again, including my mom and dad. And my wife Bonnie, my ex-wife, was the same way. She was having a ball, She said, listen, why don't we come earlier? Why did we stay in Maine all those years? It was incredible. I started, just like the guys from Moscow said, I started working right away. They rented me a nice apartment and I started making fabulous money. I started making times more than I had been making in Maine, Moscow in the 2000s was absolutely fabulous place to be. Business-wise, people were just making so much money, and I jumped right in. It was great. So coming back to Russia was absolutely great. It felt very right. I felt joyous. I felt happy. I was so glad to be reunited with my mom and dad, see them every day, live not too far away, and be able to see my aunts, uncles, first, second cousins, the whole 9 yards. As a matter of fact, I still see them all the time, and it still makes me happy 20 years after I moved back from America. So I moved not because I couldn't make it there, not because it was too difficult, not because it was, I didn't like it. I loved the country, and I still love it, up to this day. I made it there. I still have friends. We remain friends 20 years later. We keep in touch, on a regular basis with some people that I met in Maine. I got lots of life and work experience. Fantastic place. And you know what? In the future, I see myself going back, to either Maine. Well, my wife probably wouldn't want that. Most likely to a southern, hot, sunny state like Florida or California or Texas, So America was great. Absolutely fantastic. But I didn't want to cut my roots. I didn't want to burn bridges with my family. That was the reason, number one, and the only reason really for me to leave America for Russia permanently. I made it in Russia. Ever since I came back, things have been great. Money, property, relationships, everything's been really, really, really good. First, I made it in America, and then later, I made it in Russia, and I keep on making it. I am very thankful to the United States for giving me all it gave, and I'm also glad that I'm Russian, I was born in Russia, and I live in Russia. Probably not for long, and we'll see what the future brings us. Oh, let's go inside, let's go inside. Oh, quick! Back to warm. Whew. Now you know the real reason why I left the USA for Russia. But would you like to know what happened in Russia in the first months upon arrival? Remember I told you how these people from Russia, from Moscow, they gave me a very informal offer. They said, well, just come over, we'll set you up with a job. We don't know what kind of a job, but it's gonna be good. And you'll be making money. We don't know how much, but it's gonna be fabulous. So would you like to know the answer, if that really happened? How did I settle? What kind of money I started making? What happened when we first came to Russia? The answer is right here in the next video. I'll see you there.